Hello and welcome to my Game Week 20 predictions of the Premier League. I got 1 point. I got one sad point. I don't know how I did it. All I did was predict Brighton and West Ham to draw. That's it. That's the only point I got. But there were 7 draws this week. How is there so many draws? Usually there's only 3, but there were 7 this week. That is my lowest week since the start of this channel, which is 2 seasons now. So let's just get started. Let's just go. Villa versus Forest is first. So Villa, they stood their ground in the first half against Arsenal, but the second half, as soon as Onana went injured, yeah, it was over. It was over. It was wraps. And they got humbled 4-1, letting in Ford. That's not acceptable in my opinion. I mean, yes, Onana goes down, but you still got to hold down the defense, right? So yeah, they lose their streak of 11 games, and now they have to face Forest. Forest, they lost to Everton 2-0. Horrific defense, horrific. I think it was Milinkovic both times that was out of position, or I don't know, one of them. They were just shooting to shoot. Honestly, terrible game, and that is their 3rd loss in a row now. So this week, I'm going to go for gut feeling and stop looking at stats as much. Let's see what changes. I'm going for a 2-1 for Villa. Next up is Brighton versus Burnley. Brighton, in their game against West Ham, saw 3 pens, a lot of pens in that game. Welbeck buried one, but then he missed the other one. He had to make that one. Could have gotten the 3 points there, but they ended up drawing. And they were another team that were just shooting to shoot. I mean, their chances weren't clear chances, and they just wanted to get a shot off. As for Burnley, they didn't wake up to the 10th minute. I swear, they didn't. Going down 2-0 in the first 5 minutes is embarrassing. At home as well. But then they woke up, like I said, and they had some great chances. I think they should have gotten a draw in the game, but Newcastle ended up getting 3 in the end. For the result, I'm going to go for a draw, a 1-1 draw, because Brighton haven't been good, right? But they should be able to get something from Burnley. Next up is Wolves versus West Ham. Wolves finally pick up another point here against United. They kept it close throughout the whole game, which, I expected, but they weren't all that good. But again, they didn't need to be. In West Ham's game against Brighton, it was a very fiery match. They were efficient with their shots as well. Paqueta gets a goal and assist, but he also goes down to an injury as well as Todibo. Now, with those 2 injuries, Todibo and Paqueta going down, and the fact that it's at the Molineux, you would think that Wolves should win this one. But like I said, I've lost faith in Wolves. I can't back them anymore. I'm going to back them from a draw here, a 1-1 draw. Next up is Bournemouth versus Arsenal. Bournemouth, I think that was their best game in a while. They've actually been pretty bad, but that performance wasn't all too bad. But I do think they got lucky because both their goals came through mistakes from the same player, Garnacho. We'll get to him. But yeah, they get a draw at Stamford Bridge. And as for Arsenal, second half masterclass. That looked scary. That didn't look good for us. But Gabriel does go injured. He did get injured again in this game. Not sure how long he's going to be out for, or he's going to be back for the next game. But that is a big statement from Arsenal at the end of the year, being at the top of the table. In this game against Bournemouth, they should be winning here. They are away, but they should be winning. I'm going to go for a 3-1 win to Arsenal. Next up is Leeds versus United. Leeds, solid defense against Liverpool. They ended up drawing the game, but I think they could have done a little bit more if Calvert-Lewin was actually starting. He came off the bench, got a goal, but it was disallowed. I mean, Calvert-Lewin is in hot form. I don't know why they would bench him. And their other center back that they just brought in for this game, Bornau, I don't know how to pronounce his name. He went down injured as well. So it looks like they could be forced to go back to a 4 at the back. And they will be facing United, who didn't produce enough, in my opinion, against Wolves. And I do think that United got a little done dirty with the ref. There was a lot of fouls on Cunha, and he didn't really call any of them. But then again, they didn't do enough. Their squad is paper thin in terms of depth. I think Leeds should be winning this one. They are at home, and in their most recent home games, they have scored at least 3. In their last 3 home games, they scored at least 3. So I'm going to go for a Leeds win here. A pretty dominant one, in my opinion. 3-1 to Leeds. Next up is Fulham versus Liverpool. Fulham faced Crystal Palace, and I think they should have won that one. They had a couple chances. One of them hit the bar. They had the ball majority of the game, and they just couldn't get their shots off. A couple mistakes here and there. One of them was Cuenca going down. Had to go off the pitch for 30 seconds, and then they conceded off of that. So Cuenca, you're an idiot. As for Liverpool, they went against Leeds at Anfield, and they had to break down the bus, but just couldn't. Wirtz was needed this game, but he didn't turn up. He needed to break down those lines. They didn't really have a scare in the game in terms of Leeds, getting a result other than that Calvert-Lewin, but it was offsides, but they still draw at Anfield. For this game at the Craven Cottage, I do see Liverpool winning. Liverpool are pretty good right now. They did draw against Leeds, but Leeds is a tough opponent. And Fulham have been shaky. They've been good, but I did not like that performance against Crystal Palace. I'm going to go for a close 2-1 win to Liverpool. Next up is Spurs versus Sunderland. Spurs had great defense against Brentford, a lot better than what I expected. And I think that's due to Romero coming back. But they are also getting points away from home. They're starting to pick up points away from home, which they stopped doing for a while, but now they're doing it again. As for Sunderland, they also had a defensive masterclass against City. Alderate, Xhaka, Mukiele, Gashuda, they all had great games, but they can't seem to score. That is their third draw in a row. Now this game is going to be at Tottenham's stadium, so that means Spurs is most likely going to have the ball, forcing Sunderland to defend. I don't think Sunderland can score on them. I don't think either team can score on either team at this moment in time. I'm going to go for a 0-0. Next up is Everton versus Brentford. Everton, solid performance. Did not expect that against Forest. And they have only one loss in their 6 most recent away games. So away from home, they are good. But this is going to be at home. As for Brentford, that was a very disappointing performance. Attacking wise, considering they had 4 last game, and they got none this game, they needed to do a lot better. Kelleher being man of the match, that just tells you how bad they were. And now for this matchup, Everton games are hard to call, man. I don't know, but I'm going to give it to Everton. It's going to be a close battle. I'm going to go for a 1-0 win to Everton. Next up is Newcastle versus Crystal Palace. Newcastle got 2 goals immediately off the first whistle, and they won. They won off of that. And that is only their 2nd win away from home. So they've been struggling away from home, but they finally got their 2nd win. And honestly, I don't think it was as dominant of a win as you may think. It was a 3-1 win, but it wasn't a 3-1 game, you know. As for Crystal Palace, solid defense. They have to have solid defense because at the moment their attack is slim, but I don't think they did much to get that goal, right? Cuenca went down with a head injury, right? And they took advantage of that. And then Hughes is also injured, so that's another player that won't be playing this game. This game is going to be played at St. James's Park, so I think Newcastle should be winning this one, especially with Crystal Palace's injury list and Smiley Sarr not playing because of AFCON. Newcastle should be winning this one. I'm predicting that Newcastle win here 2-1. And then the last game of the game week, we have City versus Chelsea. City, that attack was not great. It wasn't great. Haaland was kept quiet. Turkey, I think his worst game in the City's jersey. And then Savinho goes down with an injury. Nico Gonzalez goes down as well. But we replaced them with Doku and Rodri, who just came back from injury, which is good and bad, right? You don't really want to put them in immediately, but they are better options than those 2 that went down injured. But at the end of the day, we dropped points. Not a good day, not a good start of the year. As for Chelsea, their defense was pretty bad against Bournemouth, especially Garnacho. My God, dude, Garnacho is actually clueless. Wasted opportunities like always with the front 3 of Garnacho, Neto, or was it even Neto? It wasn't Neto, but Delap as well. Their attack is just not great, is it? They did get some lucky ref calls as well. I think that Bournemouth got done dirty there. So Chelsea got lucky that they got ref calls, or favored ref calls, right? And then Maresca leaves. Maresca leaves right before they're going to play City. So potential for a new manager bounce. I'm not sure who they're going to get. Strasbourg's manager is rumored to come. We'll have to see. But for this matchup, it is going to be at the Etihad. We should have a little bit of home advantage there. They're kind of in a rut. They haven't won in 3. I'm going to edge City here, but I still think it's going to be close. They also haven't beaten us in a while. Chelsea hasn't beaten City in a while. So I'm going to go for a close game of a 2-1 win to City. Those are my predictions for Game Week 20. Tell me what you guys think in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, and peace.